team, Naomi here with some more handy tips on snatching up your perfect property deal. So, you've made it to the end of your research phase. You're almost seeing the tools and the dust and demolition on the other side of getting a sale over the line. And you're cracking your knuckles. You're doing warm-up stretches and you're brushing up on your communication skills, of course. Communication, I hear you ask. Yes, those communication skills, those of you who do not realise yet, they are so important. From finding your A team, from finding your B team, from getting friendly with agents to get a good source of leads, communication is key. You know what? In the final leg of this race, following your research before you get a property over the line, that's exactly what I want you to be focusing on. After all, how can you get a good price without being a good negotiator? Now, this isn't about negotiating in the Grand Bazaar of Turkey or the streets of Bali. I'm not expecting you or telling you to haggle until your lungs give out. Let's leave that for your next overseas exotic trip. But knowing how to negotiate effectively will set you up for renovating success. Now, there are 4 things that I've picked up over the years to make this smooth sailing process for you. Now, the first one of those is keeping a poker face, okay? So this is twofold. The first part of this is not giving away too much of your emotions. So picture this, you're playing poker with your mates and the stakes are high. You're all in, completely in. You've got a full house and you start to have this grin where you're flaunting your almost win. And if you do, you might find it all come crashing down when the next guy, he swoops in with a straight flush and takes home this massive cash pool. Now, properties are even trickier than a friendly poker game. Learning to keep a good poker face and don't give away any excitement that you might be seeing. And just like in a poker match, if you reveal your final price too early, you might find the seller's agent using that against you. You could then end up negotiating a buy price that's a lot higher than you actually wanted to pay for a particular property. Now, the second part of that twofold poker face is actually not just about hiding your emotions, it's about removing them altogether. So if you let yourself become too attached to a potential project, you might miss the bigger picture. And that bigger picture is your profit goal at the end, which is the reason why you're even looking at these properties to start with. You might find a house that completely, perfectly fits the bill. It's in your patch, it suits your strategy. You know exactly who your target market is. You know exactly what you want to do to that property. This renovation is right up your alley. The seller's agent will tug on those heartstrings, I tell you, and have a whole host of tricks and tips up their sleeve to push you into jumping at their higher price expectations. So don't bite. There are plenty more fish in the sea that can fulfill your profit goals. But at the same time, be realistic and point out the parts of the property that will reduce any inflated sale price that they may be trying to get over the line. But at the same time, don't criticise the property until the cows come home, because this isn't going to do you any favours either. So just remember, keep your emotions in check. Play your poker hand without giving too much away. You want to find that middle ground between overly excited puppy and being a Grinch. The second one is finding the motivation behind the sale. When an owner, who has nothing pushing them to do a sale might be dabbling with an about the offer that you put in, and they might not take your offer seriously. But if a property is for sale for one of what I call the 4 Ds, so death, disease, divorce, or debt, okay? When it is one of the 4 Ds that is motivating a sale, whatever one of those ones it might be, you will find that a seller is much, much more motivated to look at your offer and take it seriously. So remember, strong motivations means quicker sales and the potential to get a better buy price. Now, number 3 is actually about being all ears. Communicating is not just about talking, okay? It's actually about how well you can listen to other people and use that information that you hear or that you learn. Negotiating is such a two-way street, and you need to be able to, you need to be able to listen to the agents and listen to what the owners are saying in responses to your offers. It's not about telling the agent and the owner what you want. If you make it all about you, the other side will be totally less inclined to listen. And poor listening skills mean poor negotiating skills. So think about this as an extension of your research. Up until this point, you've been dug into tons of research about your patch and your strategy and comparable properties in the area and how they compare. This time, the information you gather will be fine-tuned, specific information about the property that you're wanting to renovate. So listen carefully and you will get that as extra gold insights. And now the fourth one is that rejection is a learning curve. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? There are no losers, there are only learners. I could go on forever. If you get into a renovation for business, for wealth, it's a long haul. You will understand that not every single property that you go for will end up being a house that you flip. Rejections to offers will happen time and time again, and they are a normal part of negotiation. So remember my first tip was about keeping your emotions in check, right? Well, always keep that in mind. Rejection may not be the nicest thing, but if you're throwing an offer down on the table, the seller doesn't automatically have to accept it. Sometimes your final offer is not going to be enough to make them budge, but that when they're a motivated seller, that might be enough to get them over the line. So whatever the reason, each rejection is a chance to learn and a chance to hone your negotiating skills. It's not an excuse to pack up your bags and leave the renovating world forever, even before you have begun. Just keep in mind that when you do make an offer, it's not some sort of ridiculous low-ball offer, way, way, way below market value. You wouldn't walk into a large appliance shop and offer $20 for a fridge worth $5,000. So don't do it to a property, because when you do that, the likelihood is that that owner is going to be less inclined to continue to negotiate with you. If you want to offer and you want your offer to be taken seriously, then you should put a number in that reflects exactly that. You've done your research. You know what the value of that property is. So use those negotiating skills to pick up your next renovation project and get cracking towards making an amazing profit. Thanks for joining me. Did you know I wrote a book all about renovating to create wealth and freedom in your life? I've added the link below in the description for you. Enjoy.